Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, and today we are going to go over the Thing First Steps. This is video one of two of the day. We've got the Grand Arena coming later, and we've got a bunch of extra decks, all of the economy information you need, and so much more about that coming at the daily reset when the new mode comes out. But for now, let's talk the Thing. Thing First Steps is a 5/6. He is end of turn +2 power. Once per game, if your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power. And I'm going to tell you right now, I played him all night on stream, my first stream since Vietnam, and the card is kind of fine. Is it my favorite card? No. Is it the best card? No. Is it good? Yeah. It's a decent card. It can win games. I was able to use it and Human Torch to go over, for example, a turned on Thanos in a lane. It's got value. It's a good card. Is it as good as Legion? No. Is it as good as Sarah? No. Is it as good as Cannonball? No. And that's kind of the problem. You only really want 1/5 in most of your decks, right? And that your deck is sort of built around that 5. Thing doesn't do that. He's just a good card that you can run in decks. And you're not like sad to have him, but you don't especially need him. From the Thing First Steps, let's talk about some decks for him. These are the decks I tried him in. These are and I've played against him a fair amount. It does feel like relatively scary to play against. You have to like consider what you're doing and what he can kill and whether you can win that lane. So there is that upside. He's a good card. Just like there's so many powerful fives, and since you only want one, I think he's generally likely to be a skip, although it's going to be very hard to know until we see Invisible Woman First Steps next week. The first thing we're going to talk about is from our friend Doug Pie, who stuck the Thing in Surfer. Is Thing great here? No. Do you need Thing to run a good Surfer list? No. Am I sure that this list actually wants the Thing? No. However, this is one of the two lists that I played Thing in that felt really strong. He did feel good here. He did feel consistent. This is the one that I was able to beat the Thanos with. You can find Doug Pie at twitch.tv/DougPie, one of my homies from the Bronx, one of my favorite people in this game. Go check out our friend. This deck needs Fantastic, Carter, and Torch. Surge can be Forge or Sam Wilson. Sam is really good with Carter still. The Thing can be Sarah. I mean, like, you want Sarah in a lot of these decks, right? We're running whatchamacallit. We're running Luna Snow, so we should be considering running Sarah if we have that like play pattern. I'd rather do that than Thing a lot of the time. Gwenpool can be Galacta, Shaw can be Cosmo Red Guardian or Sage, and I didn't realize, but if you don't have Luna, you can kind of run any decent three. I very rarely wanted to Luna into the Thing. Luna's actual use in this deck is not to play into the Thing. Let's actually go over to here. Luna's actual use is not to play into the Thing. It's when I don't have Gwenpool, so I can play Fantastic or Surge with a 3-drop on 5 and then go double 3. Sorry, on a 3 and a 2 on 4, and then double 3 on 5. That does have a lot of power, but like we could just throw a Cosmo in there, right? Like we could just throw a Hope Summers in there. There's a lot of different options for that deck spot. All right, Mr. Fantastic is going to go in every Surfer deck until he gets nerfed. And make no mistake, he's going to get nerfed. He's the best card in the game right now. I've heard some people disagree. So be it. I genuinely think he's the best card in the game because I think the +2 power is like in your hand is incredibly, incredibly strong. So especially in a Surfer list. So Mr. Fantastic is going to go in every Surfer list because if he hits Carter, if he hits Torch for steps, if he hits Brood, you're just in heaven. If he hits Shaw, all of that is so much power. It's such a big power spike that you have to have it. And of course, the negative one is really useful. Surge is sort of a worse version of Mr. Fantastic for steps in Surfer. Now, I straight up missed having 3 2-drops in this list. Most modern Surfer lists do run 3 2-drops for the math in order to make sure that you can see it. And I did miss it, but I'm not sure 100% sure what to cut. But if you didn't want to run Luna or the Thing in this type of list, then you could always throw a Sam Wilson there. Brood and Carter are two big power cards. You want to play them late, ideally buffed by Gwenpool, can be buffed later by Surfer, can be buffed by Surge and Mr. Fantastic, generally just powerful cards. So those are your two big late plays. Shaw is if everything goes right, the card. If everything goes right, the card, Shaw is your biggest thing. You're perfectly happy to play him. Does that usually happen? No. Usually you're focused on the other cards, the Broods, the Carters. But when Shaw works, you're happy to have him. And you do have that extra spot to mess with. Next up, we've got Human Torch First Steps, and Human Torch First Steps isn't a buff target despite him looking like one. He's a Surfer target, but you're perfectly happy to play him as like a 3/14 with Surfer without needing to do any extra work outside of filling that location. That is what his real use is. He is the 3 you want to play on 3 along with Luna. You're aiming to play one of those two. Juggernaut is a late game steal locationer. Mobius is well, Okay, so Doug Pye took this onto Conquest in order to get an Infinity ticket. Obviously, he's basically a Conquest main at this point. So what does that mean? What that means is you're gonna have to face a lot of Destroy and Mr. Negative, and Mobius is incredible in those two matchups. So that's what Mobius is really doing here. We talked about Luna. Gwenpool is a buff, and then the Thing is just a nice way to like steal a lane, right? Thing makes it very hard to compete in a lane when combined with even just a simple Brood. Can go over the top of some of the more powerful cards in Marvel Snap. Turn 1 Pass, turn 2 Fantastic over Surge, turn 3 Torch, Luna if Thing, or you have a 3/2 and no Gwenpool. If you have Gwenpool, you would rather play Torch and then go Gwenpool, and then you can drop Thing or whatever else. Turn 4 Gwenpool or Torch +2 after Luna. Turn 5 Thing or 3/3 after Luna. Brood, Shaw, Carter, Juggernaut, those are the threes. And then turn 6, we're going a 3 from turn 5 along with Silver Surfer. It's a very simple list. It's very straightforward. I think Surfer is great. What you do have to be careful of right now with this type of list is it is an extremely Shadow King meta. That's actually a problem for a lot of Thing First Steps decks. He'll still kill something 8 or 7 or less power, even if he's Shadow King, but a lot of the decks he goes in do play a lot with that green power, and that is dangerous. Before we get to our next deck, which is a top 10 deck that features Thing First Steps, please hit that sub, like, and comment. It would mean an awful lot if you're willing to help us out with that extra bit of support as we do our best to give you the best Marvel Snap content humanly possible. We are also giving away a Mr. Fantastic First Steps this week. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. I'll tell you what comment to leave later this video. I bet you if you think hard, you'll know what comment to leave, though. Let me know if you figured that out. All right, next up we have Fudge. Our friend Fudge is rank 9 right now, and this is the Fudge-tastic 4. This is obviously a deck that I think is going to end up wanting some Invisible Woman goodness, although maybe it doesn't, right? Like we're not running the full Fantastic card package. Maybe it doesn't. Whatever. This is a list that he's in rank 9 with, and I think it's really cool. This and the Surfer list again felt the very best of everything we were looking at as far as the Thing First Steps. You can find Fudge streaming at twitch.tv/elephantfudge. This deck needs Surge, Mr. Fantastic, Hope, and Elsa. The 4 cards are non-negotiable. Galactic can be Gwenpool. Torch can be Shaw. I know it's expensive. I don't know what to tell you. Thing can be Cannonball, Legion, or Hellion, i.e. the other good 5s. And Rocket and Groot can be Jeff. So this is sort of like a classic old school good stuff deck. This is like the mid-rangey good stuff where we're running Angela and Elsa with Kitty and Hope in order to get a bunch of power. That deck has fallen out of favor for quite a long time, but perhaps the end of turn shenanigans of the Thing and Torch bring it back. At rank 9, it's at least worth looking at. So we have a package of Kitty Pryde, Angela, Hope, and Elsa, which basically means you get to fill a lane and unfill a lane, giving buffs and getting extra energy, right? Rocket and Groot helps with that because it can get in and out of the lane. Kate Bishop gives you extra 1-drops, and extra 1-drops operate as Kitty if you don't see Kitty. That's the fundamental process here. Any extra energy is really, really useful in making sure you can play all these cards, hence the Surge and Mr. Fantastic. We do want some general scalers, Human Torch and the Thing. The problem I was finding with this deck was Human Torch and the Thing as I was trying to like not put them in the Angela and Elsa lane because I didn't want to fill their lanes until the end of the game. So that was mildly awkward. Not the end of the world, but mildly awkward. We have Galacta as just an extra buff card. I didn't love her here, but she was good. Shang-Chi, power must be controlled, and everything else makes perfect sense, right? Like this is running that just old school points package and then trying to scale upward. Does this deck survive Shadow King? Lord, no. But it's pretty good against almost everything else. It just puts up a lot more power than it looks like. And again, this deck did feel very, very good. Rank 9, turn 1 Kitty, turn 2 Surge over Fantastic over Angela over Kate. And yes, this is a Surge first deck. You can chain Surge relatively effectively here. Turn 3, we're going Torch or Hope over Elsa over Rocket and Groot. If we have a 1-drop, we'll tend to drop Hope. If not, we probably want to drop Torch. Turn 4, we can drop Galacta. And again, if we're going to go Galacta, we usually want to go Torch here. Galacta over 2/2 or 3/1. Turn 5, Thing or 3/2, and this is about as good as Thing has felt as a card you just want to play in this list. And then turn 6, we're going Shang and a 2, or if Kate, you can play Shang and several ones. Excuse me. You can also play Thing in a 2 if you were doing some Hope Summer shenanigans in order to get some stuff going. I love this list. This is the list that felt the best. Again, this is the list that the Thing and the Human Torch actually felt like they were contributing to positively instead of just being more good cards that like there were a million things that could replace them. That said, Do you need this list? Is this list great? No, I don't think so. If you want great lists, check yesterday's video. We went over lists 1 through 4 on the Infinite Leaderboard. We also have list 5, by the way. We just have to find time to go over it. I guess tomorrow is top 10 decks in Marvel Snap, so we'll get to it then. Please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer, where I am literally recording this live very late at night for me, but at noon. So I'll be streaming from something like 9 p.m. to noon. Most weekdays is my plan. So if you're interested, please do come check it out. Hang out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer, and I'll be streaming my regular nights. Most weekends, although this weekend, this coming Saturday, I have a tour of Hanoi with my school that I'm taking my wife and son to. So that's going to be my priority this Saturday. Sorry, we'll record the podcast Sunday morning, Sunday night for the Western world, Sunday morning for my life, or Saturday night for the Western world. You get the idea. All right. Our season pass question is real simple. What are your thing impressions? Also, please do get ready, my dear friends. The mic works. You can hopefully see it in the screen. We are on youtube.com/pulseglazer at pulseglazer, where we will be doing our Vietnam vlog, and you can check out a stream once more. All right, Woodward's end of turn in progress. This is the deck that is waiting for Invisible Woman more than any other. What does Invisible Woman first steps replace here? Good question. Um, Really good question. I don't actually know it. It might end up being Thena. That feels wrong, right? But it might end up being Thena. I'm not 100% sure what to do here as far as adding her, but I do know that this deck really, really wants the Invisible Woman for steps for that double. The thing we're going to need to know for Invisible Woman for steps is for Human Torch and the thing, whether it's going to double their once per game end of game things. If so, we're really, really cooking with gas. If not, I'm not sure how good the card's going to be, but this deck is pretty good. Clea felt really good, although Clea and Thena did lead to some anti-synergy. You can find the creators list at twitter.com/Phil J. Woodward. We love our friend Phil. He creates some really, really fun decks. He's been here a ton of times. This deck does need everything but Clea, and Clea can be Squirrel Girl. Really sorry. So Squirrel Girl helps you fill locations, but Clea is just a ton of power if you're running Marvel Boy. So do it as you want. Next up, Kitty is obviously here for Thena. You can play her to fill a location late, and you can trigger Thena regularly on turns for Sunspot. Just gets reasonably big. Sunspot is an end of turn card that is buffed um by Marvel Boy. You are, in fairness, not skipping a ton of energy here, so maybe Sunspot is the cut. I could easily see that being the case. Clea ends up being buffed largely by Marvel Boy here. You're not buffing her any other way, but Marvel Boy is good enough to get you a I forgot what it was called for a second. Flames of Faltine every turn, which is obviously a lot of power, as Clea ends up big and the flames end up big too. Hedgerbob's end of turn card that gets buffed by Marvel Boy and Fantasticar. Sunspot gets buffed by Fantasticar too. Havoc is, generally speaking, a last turn play here. You're probably playing Havoc on turn 6, and that's not easy to do unless Mr. Fantastic First Steps has made it happen. However, um, well, Havoc is not great at all in this list right now. Once we get Invisible Woman and he can be an immediate 8 power that becomes 10 power with Fantasticar, I think I like that card an awful lot more. Athena is here for Kitty, end of turn card, good power. Mr. Fantastic gives us that occasional extra energy we need, and buffing a lot of these cards is very strong. In particular, like getting any 1-0 is great, and then buffing Fantasticar, Thing, and Torch are all great. Torch is a scalar, gets nice and big. You should be able to fill a location without any trouble. Makari helps fill locations and is a 3/5 with Fantasticar. Marvel Boy plays as a huge card because you have so many ones to buff. Maybe Clea does want to be Squirrel Girl. I don't know. Squirrel Girl helping fill things does help a lot here, but then we run short on space. I don't know. I'm back and forth on it. Fantasticar is the most important card in the deck. I know it's pay to win. I'm very sorry. I'm going to once more tell you that I don't believe you should buy Fantasticar. I'm going to once more say that I felt like I had to buy it. I hate having to do this every video. I don't think that Second Dinner should be charging an extra $10. I think it prices a lot of the world out of the game of Marvel Snap. Not necessarily North America or Western Europe, but South America, Southeast Asia get priced out of Marvel Snap with the decision to charge an extra $10 for this type of card in a way that absolutely frustrates me. However, part of my job is to review the game, is to know what's happening, and I have to have the cards to do that. I do apologize. I do also genuinely think people should not buy it. Obviously, it's your money. Do what you want. If you're comfortable buying it, buy it. I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just giving you my opinion. So Fantasticar is the most important card in the deck, as much as that sucks. It ends up playing for at least a 4/13 most of the time, which is better than Galacta. We know how good Galacta is. And then, of course, Thing. Fantasticar lets us, by the way, play Thing on turn 5, which is incredible because they were still getting that 10 power, can kill a 9 or less. Really good. Thing is just really good power here. I'm not 1,000% sure he couldn't just be Iron Man if we really wanted him to be, right? Like we should probably have enough power to make that thing happen, but he is very, very good. Okay, first of all, before we talk about the turn by turn, happy birthday, Mr. Woodward. I hope you had a wonderful one. You deserve it. Turn 1, Clea or Sunspot over Kitty equals Bob. Turn 2, Fantastic over 2 ones. Turn 3, Marvel Boy, Torch, or Athena and 1, depending what you have. If you played a bunch of ones, drop Marvel Boy. If you have a Kitty and you know you can like go Torch and 1 next turn, Fantastic Car and 1 next turn, Thing and 1 next turn, you can go Athena. And if you don't have any of that stuff, if you're missing 1 drops, whatever, you can just drop Torch. Turn 4, we want to go 3+1. Again, Marvel Boy and a 1, Torch and 1 is fine. Turn 5, Fantastic Car and 1. Turn 6, Thing and 1. Really simple. If you don't have that Thing, by the way, you're gonna end up dropping like Havoc and a 3-drop, or Havoc and another Havoc and some Flames of Faltine type stuff, and you should be able to put up a lot of power at the end of the game. Phil's deck is awesome, as always. We love it. Give it a try. This one felt good, not great. It was occasionally great. I really do think it needs one more power spike or a way to run tech. That it doesn't have a way to run tech really does hurt because other things can go over the top of it. And, green power, Shadow King, yada yada. If you're interested in seeing some gameplay, please check out the stream team. Today is Thursday, so the King of Canada should be live playing these games at about 12 p.m. Eastern if you are so inclined. I should be able to raid him, in fact, I think, assuming that everything goes according to plan in my life. All right, next up we have Safety X Thing. This deck we're going to go through quickly because it's very similar to the previous deck, right? It's sort of a combo of the previous 2 decks, except it runs Professor X. So Safety loves Professor X. Sorry, I didn't like this deck. Safety says this deck is mid, but I needed one more Thing deck, so here we are. You can find Safety at twitch.tv/safetyblade. You need all of them again, more or less. This is a very pay-to-win deck. Surge can be Jennifer Kale. Hope can be Luna. What I think is kind of cool about these decks is that they feature a lot of cards that were the best card in Marvel Snap, right? We saw Angela earlier. We've got Athena. We've got a Elsa in one. We've got Hope in this. We've got Kitty. We've got like a lot of cards, Professor X, a lot of cards that spent a little bit of time as the best card in Marvel Snap, which I think is pretty cool. We've talked about 90% of these cards already, so rather than talk about them again, Professor X is just really nice. If you can use Surge or Mr. Fantastic to make a 1-cost 0, especially Professor X is just going to steal you a lane on turn 5. That does mean you're often going to have to Fantastic Car on turn 4, but sometimes you also get Surge or Mr. Fantastic in order to get Professor X on turn 4. That's really, really useful. This deck is less reliant on Fantastic Car than the previous one, but Professor X is kind of a prick right now. There's just enough moves that I don't love him. Safety says this is mid, but he really enjoys it, and so that means it's worth at least keeping an eye on. Turn 1, Bob over Kitty. Turn 2, Surge over Fantastic over 2 ones. Turn 3, Hope, Athena, +1 or Torch. Turn 3, 3+1 or 2+2. We can go Fantastic and Athena. We can go Torch and a 1-drop, whatever. If you have Professor X, you can drop Fantastic Car now. If you can Professor X, you can also do that. Turn 5, Fantastic Car and a 1, Professor X, Thing and a 1. Turn 6, Thing and Havoc, trigger the car. Good power, but Professor X is awkward. If you're really good at reading how to use them, play this list. If not, play one of the others. Questions of the day. Jay Blumen asks, what's my favorite 5-drop? And my favorite 5-drop is Agamotto. I think Agamotto is genuinely a blast to play. I wish there was a way to make him a little less awkward. I generally don't like the 1-drop spell. If the 1-drop spell did sort of anything else, I think I would be much more inclined to play a lot more Agamotto. There's a lot of other 5-drops I like. I really, really love Sarah, but I haven't played Sarah in a really long time. I'm a big fan of running of Legion, but like not because I like Legion so much as because everyone said Legion was terrible when I said Legion was going to be awesome, and then Legion was awesome, and I love being right. Cannonball is one of my favorite characters, but I think the card is fairly toxic thanks to Mercury, so I'm going to go with Agamotto as a card that is both really, really fun and pretty damn good. Soon to support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks, and since I'm doing this live, I'm going to go relatively quickly, my friends, so that I can let everybody get out of here. I'm going to raid somebody pretty soon. Thank you to Jonesy Snapped 22, our patron of the month. Abigail Geeslin. Oh, check out Jonesy Snap 22 on YouTube, please. Abigail Geeslin, the AG. Mandatory Burnout, who stopped by earlier. Regardless, always kind. LAB Inc., the Graphite Fan. I am Frostman. Hota Nevedete Primed Ryan. Ryan Burke. Ryan Wood. Snap. Ren Wrench. Gopher Kev. Keltor. Kertixley. Koire. Kazushi. Archangel 3K. K-Town Huge. Killing it. Black Dahlia. Pyro Frost. Sup Pyro. The Goat Seeker. Goatsy. Code. Hallowed, Synth, Nick, Absolute, Shannon, Nightmare, Dirty Casual, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Traveling the World, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, who stopped by as well. Hi, Philly. Haplo, it's happening. Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, The Biz Up, Black Jeep is 23, Expressy, and Skippy G, Rhyming Friends, Jessica Gamble. How you doing, Jess? Mr. Slush Death, thank you for the kind words that you gave to me while I was on stream. The King of Bros Bro, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Werewolf, I think stopped by while I was recording. If you did, hi Werewolf, KFC Hood, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Rob Sylvan, David G. Wingfield, Stephen, Brian Kaufman, Martin, Jason B, Mr. Greg Sterry, and Matt V. Corbin, John Q, and Jimmy McQ, Cube Town, You Stout, Eighth Sage, One Bookman for Reels, Cactus Jack, Reapster, Steve O, 131, Yo Marco, thank you for stopping by, Marco, Ted Bro, Quid Pro Joe, great questions. I got another question from Quid Pro Joe to take soon. We got Snap Decisions Joe. Hopefully you check out the Snap Decisions podcast, please. Bickety Boom Bop, Brick Stew Click, Green Goblin, Unibot V2. Check him out on YouTube, please. Flan56, Spectrum X, Hoot. Hi Hoot, thanks for coming by too. Only Fox, Matt H, the only one we need. DJ, Mike Edix, no frickin' flex. Nick, the Greek Geek, who got me this sweet mic working. Thank you, Nikki. Toxic Soul King, who stopped by and dropped a sub. Thanks, Toxie. Zodrick74, who also swung by. Hey, Zod, thank you. King of Canada, JJ, who also stopped by. Look at my friends. Big hearts. I got the mic, so my big heart came in a weird spot. Sorry about that. Den Man Falcon, the wonderful Den Man on YouTube. Thorin Newman, check him out on YouTube and Twitch. Two Ties, how you doing too? Who's running Snap Judgments League? We're kicking it off next month. I just got to get that flyer made, and I've been real busy, but I got to get that flyer made. The great Lauren Redebs, who did so much math for us for the. I mean, look, she did the ultimate guide over on Marvel Snap Zone, but still, she did so much math for us for the new mode. The Pirate King Tucker, who also stopped by. Thanks, Tuck. And of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all you. Don't forget we got a second video today, and don't miss it. I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you later today, and then tomorrow. We got a lot of videos coming as always. Nothing gonna stop us now. Peace.